This is the video walkthrough for week 9, exercise 1, the list window with scroll project. First of all, I want to apologize. I'm a little congested as I'm recording this, so I apologize if I sound a little weird. As the weather has gotten warmer, my allergies have kicked up, and of course, I'm feeling the effects. In this exercise, you're essentially creating a GUI application that consists of a list box with a scroll bar that responds to list events by displaying the selected item in a read-only text box at the bottom of the screen. So combining many of the things that we talked about in the beginning of the week 9 lecture. So here you see a scroll bar, a list box showing the first 6 months of the year with the scroll bar, with the vertical scroll bar. And every time we click on a month, it is displaying in this read-only text box down here at the bottom of the screen that says you selected, and the month that you selected. In this case, I selected September. Let's take a look at what's going on behind the scenes to make this code work. If we look at our code, we notice immediately that we have imported the abstract window toolkit, we've imported the swing library, and we have also imported the event sublibrary that exists in the swing library. Now, I believe that the swing library events and the abstract window toolkit events are essentially interchangeable. We have a class here that extends a JFrame, so that this is going to be our window. On our window, we have a panel that's going to hold the months, a panel that's going to hold the text box and the label. We have a list box for our list of months. We have a scroll pane so that we get that scroll bar in that list box. We have a text box and a label, and that's going to be to identify our selected item. Next, we've created a list of, actually an array of strings, which we'll talk about arrays in a few weeks. But for now, just understand that an array is nothing more than a structure that stores a list of data called months, and we have put into that list the 12 months of the year. In the class constructor, we're setting the title of our window to list demo. We're setting the default on close operation to exit. We're sort of reiterating that we want to use the border layout manager for this particular class. We are calling methods, which we'll look at in just a moment, to build our month panel and build our selected month panel. The month panel is going to have the list and the scroll bar in it. The selected month panel is going to have our text box and label in it. We are adding the month panel to the center section of the border layout manager, and we're adding the selected month panel to the southern section of the border layout manager. We're calling pack to arrange our window neatly and make it the smallest size that everything can be visible. And then we're setting the window visible. If we look at the two methods to build our panels, our build month panel is creating a panel called month. It is creating the list called month list. We're setting the selection mode of month list to single selection. We're adding a list selection listener class. We're connecting our listener class to our list through the add listener selection or add list selection listener method. We're setting the visible rows of our list to 6. We only want to display the first 6 items. That's going to be the first half of the year. We've got a we're setting up we're creating our scroll pane object, and we're adding our list to it. And then remember, when we're dealing with scroll panes, we add the control to the scroll pane. We add the scroll pane to the container. So in this very last line, we're adding our scroll pane to our panel. In our build selected month, panel, we're creating a panel. We're creating a label with the text you selected. We're creating a text field that is 10 characters wide. We are making the field read-only by calling setEditable and providing false. We're adding the label to the panel, and then we're adding the text box to the panel. Below that, we have our private inner class for our event handler. We have a class we called list listener. It implements the list selection listener interface. Inside that interface, there is one method called value changed that we must implement. And what happens is this method is fired every time you click on a different value in the list. When you click on that method, when you click on that item in the list, the Java virtual machine is going to come over here and it's going to call this method. And so we're going to put our code that we want executed when that happens. So what do we want to do? Well, we want to take that selected month, we want to get the selected month out of the list, and we want to display it in the text box. So we're calling the getSelectedValue method of our list. That will give us back the reference to the item that was selected. We're using typecasting to force it to a string, and we're storing it in a string variable called selection. We're then calling the setText method that allows us to programmatically change the value of a text box. Just because the text box is not editable to the user does not mean we can't change the value stored in it. In this case, we're doing that by passing into the setText method the value of our variable called selection, which contains whatever item the user selected from the list. A couple of weeks, or back in week 8, I talked about the fact that we could package all of this stuff up together and put our main method in our class too. And we could do that. The advantage that we have here is that there's less files involved, there's less jumping in files, everything's in one place. For a small program like this, it's not necessarily a bad thing, and most of the exercises that you see this week are going to look like this. So we also have our main method in here, which again gets everything started by creating a new list window with scroll object. This has been the walkthrough for exercise 1, list window with scroll project. Again, just sort of outlining how we could use list boxes, especially in single select mode, and editable text boxes, as well as handling list events, all in one exercise. I hope that you guys understood and grasp everything that this class is doing, that this code is doing. If you have any questions, you can let me know. You can email me at bsimbeck@ccac.edu or feel free to ask me during class. Thank you for watching.